Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitchell Mander here. Welcome to another review of the Boruto anime. We're going to be covering episode 194 in today's review. And it is an adaptation of Chapter 27 from the Boruto manga. So how was this episode overall? Well, before I get onto that, if you're new to the channel, you like the type of content, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Alrighty, let's get on to the review. So the episode starts off with Hinata throwing away the broken vase. Himawari still feels bad about it and is still upset about it, but Hinata assures her that it's alright. Her thoughtfulness that went into making it is what counts the most. And this cheers Himawari up. Meanwhile, we have Boruto and Kawaki who have to use the restroom. And they're fighting over it, but it's already occupied as Naruto is currently occupying it. So they go take their business outside. So they're being at the back of the house. And Kawaki calls Boruto a shrimp, and that's when they immediately start fighting. And they activate their karmas. And they're about ready to seemingly throw down. And for the first and maybe last time. However, one of Naruto's shadow clones intervenes and stops him, and his shadow clone looks kind of constipated over here. And yeah, it's funny because Naruto's still in the toilet. He's like, "Man, guys, can you let me do my business in peace?" So throughout this episode, you see Kawaki adapting to his new life with the Uzumakis, eating breakfast and dinner with them, going out taking a walk, talking with his new mother Hinata. Him just relaxing and Naruto watching over him all day. And yeah, you get to see Kawaki's kind of just taking in his new life. And he's kind of starting to calm down a little bit. He's not as hostile as he was. But he's still not used to what's going on. This is all still new to him. There's also a nice little anime original scene in which Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki are doing target practice. And Boruto is the only one that keeps missing his targets. It seems like it's because of a certain somebody that's living in his house that's bothering him. And Boruto keeps telling him, yeah, he's the worst. But there's something else going on here that Boruto is not telling Sarada and Mitsuki, because Boruto kind of realizes there's a little bit more to Kawaki by this point, despite the fact that he still can't really stand the guy. But he continues to keep missing his target just because he's so bothered by the fact that Kawaki is just the worst. He's the absolute worst, and I'm stuck with him all the time now. Now, I'm not going to go into spoilers here, but there's an anime original scene in which Naruto is at the Hokage office with Shikamaru and Sai, and they're basically still trying to decipher the contents of what Konohamaru retrieved from the blimp. And it seems like it's going to be taking a long time. And all I'm going to say right now is, for the anime onlys, you need to pay attention to this. This is going to be super important in the future. It's going to be a big event when this data gets revealed in the future. That's all I'm going to say. The internet's probably going to break as soon as it comes out. I mean, we did get this in the manga, but I think when the anime does it, it's going to be even bigger. Just saying. Then it comes to the scene where Boruto and Kawaki are talking, and Kawaki asks Boruto how he got his karma. Boruto explains that he got it from fighting this guy named Momoshiki Otsutsuki. Kawaki, on the other hand, explains his story, in which we get the scene from the manga where Kawaki is in that plastic container. He's held up. And Jigen is basically performing a ritual, a karma ritual, I should say, passing on the karma to all these kids. It seems like a lot of kids have died as a result of these experimentations. And Kawaki witnessed one of them, as Jigen goes into his karma form for the very first time, goes to perform the ritual on passing the karma on to an unknown child. The child begins, you can hear him screaming in agony, and he's unconscious, but you can tell it's still hurting him, and it eventually kills the kid. And Amato down here is like, that's another failure. There's only 2 left. And Jigen gets angry and kicks over the container that the kid, I guess, was used for the ritual for the kid. And then goes over to Kawaki and even tells him, are you going to disappoint me too, Kawaki? So that's when Jigen goes to pass on the karma seal to Kawaki, and Kawaki blacks out, but he survived. He's got the karma seal now. Boruto tells Kawaki that, wow, you're lucky that you were spared from dying. But Kawaki reiterates that, spared? Actually, ever since that day, my life has literally been a living hell, and it is hell now. I will not know peace until I get rid of this karma seal. Don't you want to get rid of it too, Boruto? So why don't we work together to get rid of the karma seals on us? Boruto seems to sympathize with Kawaki here, learning a little bit more about his past. You can see Naruto's actually eavesdropping on the conversation in the background. But Boruto still tells Kawaki, yeah, I'm not going to forgive you for what you did to Himawari's vase. What are you going to do to make up for that? And this annoys Kawaki, calling him a stupid brat. And even Naruto calls Boruto an idiot. But anyways, the episode comes to an end with Kawaki staring at the broken vase bag. Naruto, having eavesdropped on his conversation with Boruto, talks with Kawaki, tells him not to worry about it. But Kawaki says he's going to make up for it by buying a new one, or getting a new one. Which Naruto kind of tells him, yeah, you have no money, so you're planning on stealing one, don't you? Well, yeah, that's not going to happen, so I'm going to take you around the Leaf Village. We can, take a tour around the village and so you can get used to the place. And that's where the episode comes to an end. So overall, I thought this was a fine adaptation of Chapter 27. I enjoyed it more than the manga chapter, if I'm being completely honest, but the anime adapted the manga perfectly, in my opinion. And the anime original scenes worked with the manga original scenes. So I think overall this was a great episode and a great adaptation. But so for me, the things I like the most in this episode, I like the fact that Boruto and Kawaki's dynamic is shown off throughout this episode. You see them quarreling right after they're done peeing. They're quarreling at the dinner table. They're quarreling towards the end of the episode over the vase. So you just see their dynamic growing. I think Studio Period, I think this episode was actually outsourced, but the studio that did this episode did a fine job showing off their dynamic here. I also like the scenes with Hinata and Kawaki, as we didn't get to see them interact a whole lot in the manga, so I like what the anime is doing here, as Hinata is showing Kawaki motherly love. And there's actually a scene, this is something I caught on Twitter, somebody noticed this on Twitter, where Hinata was laying a blanket out to dry when Kawaki was taken off for the day. And later that night, Kawaki is actually using that same blanket and actually liked the smell of the laundry. So I thought that was a really nice moment that the anime, an Easter egg that the anime added in there, because Kawaki probably has never smelled something so good in his life, because he was treated so poorly from his father, and then he went to Kara and they probably didn't treat him any better. Well, obviously they didn't treat him any better, but you know what I mean. So this is the first time he's actually got, clean clothes, probably, a clean blanket that smells really good. So I think that these are all really good scenes overall. Alrighty guys, there's not really much else I have to add to this episode review. Overall, a fine adaptation of Chapter 27. The anime original scenes complemented the episode really well and adds to the story going on in the Kawaki arc in the anime. So I'm going to give this episode a solid 8 out of 10. So guys, in the comment section down below, let me know what you thought of this episode. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you looking forward to next week's episode and the next couple of episodes since it's adapting the manga? Just let me know in the comment section down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I'll see you all later.